It was a late afternoon when my friend Lucia and I decided to visit the infamous cemetery around our town. It was an uphill task to convince Lucia, especially after the latest disappearance reported around the area, but I managed it anyway. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows over the tombs at the cemetery, and it seemed to give a chilly reminder about what probably awaited us. We wandered through the narrow pathways, and as it grew darker, it felt like each tombstone had a dreadful story to tell. As we turned a corner, we found ourselves around the restricted area. There was a sudden and sharp drop in temperature, and I felt a chill run down my spine. To make it worse, Lucia tells me that she just couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. We continued walking along the rusty, creepy passage inside the abandoned church until we stumbled upon its dead end. The interior was dimly lit by the fading light, and as we stood there, I thought I heard a faint whisper. I glanced at Lucia, and her eyes widened, confirming she heard it too. Did you hear that? I asked as I stood frozen on the spot. Lucia nodded and started to recede with absolute dread written on her face. The whispering started to grow louder, and we could almost figure what they meant. Help me, help. Please, somebody help. We charged towards the exit like terrified gazelles.
Lucia, run!
But just before we could leave, the gate slammed shut with a deafening thud. I tried everything in my power to open it, but the door didn't even budge. The whispers now turned into piercing sobs, and we almost started to feel a distinct presence approaching us through the corridor. We pressed ourselves against the gate, desperately trying to escape. The demonic figure stopped and tilted her head crookedly, which nearly squeezed the breath out of my body.
Who are you?
Lucia screamed, but I don't think the specter dropped there to answer that. The figure stepped forward. Her face looked gaunt, and eyes absolutely hollow.
Please, help me find my child.
She pleaded, and even though her presence was dreadful, there was still something grieving about her tone. We were frozen in fear, unable to respond. The figure reached out to us, and as she did, the gate creaked open.
Now's our chance!
I yelled. I grabbed Lucia's arm as hard as I could, and we darted straight out of the cemetery. We were shaken to the core for months. We never spoke of the incident again, but I can still hear those whispers in my nightmares.